She doesn't compare you to others because she wants to hurt you. She does it because, deep down, she's trying to understand something about herself and about you. When she looks at another man and brings up his name, she's not just talking about him. She's measuring how much strength, confidence, and emotional stability you hold in her eyes. Most men take those comparisons personally and feel small, confused, or angry. But here's the truth. When a woman starts comparing you to others, it's not really about them. It's about her slowly losing trust in your energy, your direction, and the way you carry yourself as a man. She's trying to see if you still have the power that once made her feel safe, admired, and emotionally drawn to you. And that's the uncomfortable reality. The moment you start reacting or trying to prove yourself, you confirm her doubts. Because what she's really searching for is not a better man. She's searching for the man you used to be before you started chasing her approval. You've probably felt that moment when she compares you to someone else. Maybe it's her ex, a coworker, or even a random guy online. It's a quiet sting that cuts deep. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, but somewhere inside, it shakes your confidence. You start wondering what he has that you don't. You begin to question whether you've lost something along the way. Your charm, your drive, or the spark that once made her look at you differently. You try harder to please her, to become more like the image she seems to admire. But the harder you try, the less she seems to appreciate it. You can feel her pulling away, slowly, quietly, as if your efforts only make her more distant. And in those moments, you feel trapped between confusion and frustration, not knowing if you should fight for her attention or step back to protect your pride. It's a painful place to be, because deep down, you just want to understand what went wrong. You want to know why the woman who once looked at you with admiration now measures you against other men. First, you need to understand something important. When a woman compares you to others, it's not always a sign that she's unfaithful or cruel. In many cases, it's her way of testing your emotional strength. Women are deeply intuitive. They sense when a man begins to lose his balance or his inner confidence. When she says things like, "He's more confident," or "He's doing better in life," she's not just pointing out another man's qualities. She's watching how you respond. Do you get defensive, insecure, or angry? Or do you stay calm and grounded? Because the moment you lose your center, she feels it. And when she feels it, her respect begins to fade. What she truly wants is not your reaction. She wants to feel your stability. She wants to see that no matter what happens, you remain unshaken, focused, and sure of yourself. That quiet strength is what draws her in, even if she doesn't admit it out loud. Then, you have to realize that comparison often comes from emotional contrast. Human beings don't compare facts, they compare feelings. A woman might not miss a person, but she misses how that person made her feel. Maybe she once felt excitement, admiration, or passion, and now in your relationship, things feel routine and predictable. When she brings up another man's energy, ambition, or drive, she's not necessarily longing for him. She's longing for the emotions she once associated with that kind of energy. This is why many men fall into the trap of overcompensating. They try to win her back by changing themselves, buying things, or chasing her approval. But that only pushes her further away, because the man she fell for wasn't trying to prove his worth. He simply lived it. The key is not to chase the feeling, but to return to your inner balance. When you are centered again, she feels that shift, and her comparisons lose their power. Next, it's important to understand that constant comparison often reveals more about her internal conflict than about your shortcomings. Sometimes she's torn between two parts of herself, one that craves stability, peace, and loyalty, and another that desires excitement, mystery, and challenge. When these emotions clash inside her, she tries to resolve them externally by projecting them onto you. Suddenly, you become the safe one, but not the exciting one, the reliable one, but not the passionate one. And this confuses her, because she wants both. But the truth is, no man can be every version of what she wants. A wise man understands this and does not take it personally. He knows that her confusion belongs to her, not to him. He remains steady in who he is, knowing that her changing emotions are like waves, temporary, unpredictable, and beyond his control. Finally, remember this. The strongest men do not compete with ghosts. When she compares you to another man, whether it's an ex or a fantasy in her mind, understand that you are not in competition. The moment you try to prove you're better, you've already lost your frame. Because by competing, you step into her world instead of leading from your own. A woman cannot truly respect a man who seeks her approval. She only respects a man who stands on his own ground. So let her compare, let her question, let her wander. Because a man who is secure in himself never fears being measured against another. He knows that true value doesn't need to shout, it simply exists. And in time, she will see that no comparison can stand against the quiet strength of a man who knows who he is. When a woman compares you to others, your first instinct might be to react, to defend yourself, to prove her wrong, or to remind her of everything you've done. But that reaction, no matter how justified it feels, only feeds the very doubt she's testing you for. The real power lies in your ability to stay centered. When she tries to provoke you through comparison, see it for what it truly is, an emotional test, not a declaration of truth. Take a breath, stay silent, and let your energy speak louder than your words. Because silence, when rooted in confidence, has a gravity that commands respect. Instead of explaining yourself or trying to compete, turn your focus back to your own path. Ask yourself, have I been neglecting my purpose? Have I let my emotions drift too far into her world that I've forgotten my own? Real strength is not in controlling her behavior, but in mastering your response to it. When you stay grounded in who you are, she feels that energy. And whether she admits it or not, that calm certainty reawakens her attraction far more than any argument ever could. If she continues to compare you, don't argue or chase validation. Step back emotionally and give her the space to reflect on what she's doing. The man who doesn't beg for attention holds a power that words can't explain. Because when she feels that she can no longer shake your peace, something inside her begins to shift. She starts to see that the calm you carry isn't weakness. It's strength. It's discipline. It's the kind of energy that a woman can rely on when her emotions are unstable. So instead of trying to be better than the man she compares you to, focus on becoming the most grounded version of yourself. Work on your purpose, your body, your habits, your silence. Live in a way that radiates direction and clarity. Because when you stand firm in your truth, She will either rise to meet your energy or fade out of your life, and both outcomes serve your peace. The stoic man understands that he doesn't lose anything by refusing to chase. He only loses when he abandons himself. So remember, when she compares you to others, it's not really about who's better or more successful. It's about who stays grounded. Most men lose themselves trying to prove their worth, but the man who remains calm and silent shows his strength without saying a word. You don't need to compete with anyone. Your peace, your purpose, and your discipline already set you apart. Let her compare. Let her question. That's her battle, not yours. The more you chase validation, the weaker you appear. But the moment you pull back and focus on your own path, you rise above comparison entirely. A woman can feel when a man is centered within himself, and that quiet confidence is what truly captures her respect. So stay calm, stay grounded, and never forget. The man who knows his value can never be compared.